What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Coley. I'm back with another video because that's what we do on YouTube. We make videos. If you're new here, like it, comment on it, and subscribe. Alright, so don't mind the clothes in the back. I am not today, but I'm gonna drop those off at the cleaners. Anyway, let's get into the conversation. You saw the title, so you know what you here for. You here to talk. We here to chit. So I have to admit, I am a fan of the Queer Pop the Balloons show. There's a lot of different ones out there. The one that I think is, like, I guess the best quality or the best ones that I've viewed thus far are the ones, I think, the YouTube account is Tracks. It's a guy that does, of course, this guy, rather. But anyway, it's from ATL. I guess that's the only place they're doing right now for that particular one. Anyway, I saw last night's episode, and I want to have a conversation around that, about some things I noticed, and also just some conversations that I've had with friends in the past, and just some things that I know to be true, you know what I'm saying, just as being a gay black man. And the first thing that I'm going to hit on is when I was watching the show, I think it's a great concept. It's very entertaining. Sometimes there's a lot of mean people on there, like mean-spirited people, which, you know, I don't like. But last night was really good, but I noticed that there was a guy that came out. He was very animated, you know, like very animated, and different shows for different folks. And I think there was another guy that came on after that as well. But I remember hearing specifically, at least from two of the people on the lineup, they was like, I like you, but I want to see what else is out there. I essentially, I think you're great, but I'm not sure if I'm going to miss something better. So I'm going to pass on what I think is great in hopes that something else is on the other side of that curtain. It's literally what they were saying, right? But it's not just limited to this particular show. This is a culture thing. It is a community thing. I don't know if it's just men, gay men. I don't know if it's across the board. I can only speak for the community that I'm a part of. But I know for the black gay community, it's always, I'm going to pass on you not because you're not good, not because you're not what I'm looking for, not because you're not attractive, not because you ain't got it together. I'm going to pass on you simply because I'm not sure if there's something better out there. And I don't want to commit to this when I may be missing something better. Now, let's be clear. I'm not naive. There's always going to be somebody more attractive. There's always going to be somebody more successful, depending on what you determine success as. It's always going to be somebody more fit, more this, more that, it's always, there's millions of people in the world. So, of course, there's always going to be, I guess, a better option. I think the issue here is that everyone says that they want to be in something serious. They want to build. That's why you on all these apps. You want to build with somebody. But when people show up, you are more, and when I say you, I ain't talking about you on the other side of this camera unless the shoe fits, put it on. But you want to see if there's better. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. How do I explain this? Like, I think you should date. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean like the first person that comes along and they cool, you like, all right, let's lock in. No, you don't have to be that way. But I think there is something to be said if it's always consistently, I'm looking for the next best thing. You know, people are on apps. It's like I'm always, and I think the accessibility of people just on your phone keeps people from being in a committed relationship, because although they say out of their mouths they want something committed and they want something serious, not everybody, but somebody, But these apps and these, social media, you're always having this temptation of, oh, that person looks better, or that person is better, or that person got this going on. I have a rule of thumb, 80-20. 80-20. 80-20, babes. 80-20. If a person that's in your current space of dating is giving you 80%, you better stop gambling with the 20 that you don't know about. If you got 80 locked in, because here's the reality, nobody's going to check off everything in your list. There are going to be some things that you will have to compromise. But here's also the second part of that reality. Somebody got to compromise with you. You ain't all together either. And so it's this whole concept of, I'm looking for the next best thing, and then the person you dating or talking to, they looking for the next best thing. And so everybody is looking for the 20% versus locking in with the 80% that's standing in front of them. That is the problem. Not dating around, not seeing, who's out there, getting a feel for people. It's the fact that you're dating around and still choosing, well, let me see what's behind the curtain. Let me see the next one. Let me see the next one. And it's almost like we're treating dating and relationships as if it's an endless scroll on social media. You know that it's endless. It's an endless scroll on TikTok. You could scroll for days, just keep going, and it's going to keep feeding you things that you like. And what you're going to do is keep saying, maybe, chit chat a little bit. I don't like this. Let me. They said something off. They did this. It was also a particular scene in there where this guy, everybody was feeling him. He was cool, casual, and how Tara said, we were rooting for you. I was rooting for him. And then he gets to the end. I think he's dressed in black. He's just very soft-spoken. Another guy was like, you're very serious, which I kind of picked up as well. But I loved his answers, his whole demeanor, his energy. I was like, this is a good guy. This is a good guy. He's level-headed, this and that, just off of, what I'm seeing. He gets to the end with the guy from, and I'm sorry, I don't know, the names by heart, of course. He gets to the end with the guy from New Orleans. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like a really good match, because I like the guy from New Orleans as well, like really cool, seemed like really good energy. And the guy from New Orleans, the final question was, he asked about his sexual preference, and the other guy got really, I guess he's like, I hate that question, and he pops the balloon. And Trax, he's like, I really feel a love connection. And I was like, me too. Like, I feel this. This is, we got to figure this out. And so they go back and forth. And then it started to become very, not like over the top, but it obviously there was it was something there. Like they were going back and forth. There was a misunderstanding, this and that. And then the final outcome was, Trax was like, do you want, despite hearing what you just heard, him explaining everything, do you want to go move forward? And the guy was like, nah. I was like, bro. And so it literally shifted my whole thought process around him, because previously a guy had asked him about, like your confrontational skills. And so that told me a whole bunch right there. Like, if somebody says something that you don't like, you're not willing to compromise, but you gave this whole speech in the beginning about emotional maturity, this and that. And this guy literally, in my personal opinion, everybody's entitled to their opinion, it was almost like he was a part of the same group that he was referring to. I was rooting for him until he got to the end, and I'm like, wait a minute, your real true colors came out. Because even the guy, I believe the guy from New Orleans, was still willing to, if you haven't watched the show, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but the guy from New Orleans was still willing to I can see it, we can look past that, because he explained why he was asking that question. And so it's that whole thing of people not willing to compromise, and you always looking for the next thing, like as if you're gonna find somebody perfect. If they hitting 80, you better go with your 80. Like, seriously, go with your 80. And going with your 80 is not not settling. I don't think it's settling. It's understanding that good guys are hard to come by. Faithful men, heterosexual and homosexual, are hard to come by. Somebody that you can build with is hard to come by. Somebody that's not fighting with you and toxic is hard to come by. Somebody that's willing to do the work, to go to therapy, to heal, to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard to come by. So if you are that person that you keep trying to, you know, like playing the field, but at the same time saying you want something serious, no, you don't. You don't want anything serious. And that's the point that you gotta figure out within you. Like, why am I afraid of committing? Am I afraid of settling down? And like, if you feel like settling down is going to cause you to miss out on something great, you're not ready to settle down, because it's always going to be something greater. and that goes for you and the person you're seeing, and it goes for them as well. There's always going to be somebody greater than you too, boo. You do. It's somebody greater, somebody finer, more money, more this, more mature, doing their work on they, you know, it's going to be somebody too. So you have to find somebody that's willing to do the work with you, be in this thing long term, and fight. Relationships are hard work. So it's really telling that most of y'all just don't want to do the work. You like the idea of a relationship. You like the idea of posting your boo. You like the idea of y'all starting a YouTube channel together. You like the idea of dating somebody. You like the idea of taking pictures and everybody saying relationship goals. You love the idea, but you don't want to do the work. And it's telling. It's telling. It's telling. It's telling. Me, myself, I am a relationship. Sit me down and get me. I want my one. You know what I'm saying? And I have my one. You know? And so, and we do the work. Like, we've been to therapy. When we started dating, we got into therapy together. I believe in therapy for myself. I got a therapy session coming up. I'm looking into, I saw Little John talking about, I think it's EMDR. I may be saying it wrong. Correct me in the comments if it's wrong. But it's supposed to help you really dig up some suppressed stuff and really get to the root of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I know even though I'm doing the work, I may need deeper work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm okay with that, because I want to be able to show up in my relationship and relationships as a better version of myself. That's my commitment to honor my relationships. But I'm not just honoring the relationships externally. I'm honoring the relationship internally. I want to heal first for me. But I know if I heal for me, I can show up as a better version, as a better partner, better spouse. You know? But you got to be willing to do the work. Relationships are not easy. After you get done taking the pictures, after you get done being relationship goals, you still got to do the work. Yeah, babes, you still work still required. Daily, there's going to be ups and downs. Daily. So if you find somebody that's fighting for you, why you not fighting for them? If you find somebody that wants to do the work with you, why you not? What options always gonna be there? But what's gonna happen is you're gonna leave your 80 and you're gonna find out what you thought was 100 is 10. Imagine the disappointment. Imagine all the 80s you left thinking you were gonna finally find your pot of gold. And you get your pot of gold, and baby, it's gold plated. It ain't even real gold. But what you had was somebody who was faithful, committed. I'm just throwing stuff out there. You had somebody that was locked in with you. They weren't perfect, but you're not perfect either. So we always got to remember that. Like, as much as you can say about the person you fumbling, they can say some stuff about you too. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, here's another thing. I was about to get off this, but it just popped in my head. When you do the work, you attract people on a higher caliber. If you keep running into the wrong one, the wrong guy, the wrong whatever, are you doing the work? Because I'm telling you, when you do the work, and I was talking about that in a previous video, when you do the work as a gay black man, when you do your work, I'm telling you, like, the caliber of people that you will start to align with will be individuals that are, you know, like they them the ones. And if you're not attracting that, it's not a reflection of the dating pool, it's a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of it's a reflection of you. I know there's, you know, different situations, so, you know, this is not a blanketed statement, so don't, you know. But yeah, do your work. Continue to do your work even after you get in your relationship. Continue to do your work. Yeah, I just believe that that's just a big issue. Like, people, you know, next best thing. Nobody wants commitment, but that's what everybody say they want. I want my person. No, you don't. You want the streets, boo. And that's okay. Ain't nobody judging you. But don't be saying you want your person. You don't want your persons. You want your persons. You want your options. You want flexibility. You want a work from home job. You don't want to go in the office. It's okay, babes. Me and my friend be saying that. It's okay. Ain't literally no judgment. But I think things will really make sense when you come into harmony with what you're really desiring. I think it'll make sense then, you know. Anyway, drop a comment. Tell me what you think. If I stepped on your toes, say ouch. If you sending this to somebody, say sent. Either way, like in, subscribe. Happy to have you here. I'm headed to actually have a work session with one of my friends and going to Black Coffee here in Atlanta, about 6 minutes away. So that's what we about to do, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.